Before we jump into adding HTML to our web pages, I just want to make sure we understand exactly what HTML is and what it does. I'm not going to go too deep and technical just yet, but understanding why we use it and why it came about in the first place will really benefit us when we come to coding. First of all, what exactly is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It may sound a little weird at first, but we'll look into what this all means soon. HTML is a standard markup language for creating websites and applications. HTML is everywhere on the web. Most websites are constructed using this, and all browsers know how to read and display it correctly. Like all programming languages and most things in life, things change and evolve. We're currently on version 5 of HTML, and like all new versions, things get added or removed. When a new version comes out, which is not that often, it's not something to worry about. Everything we already know usually still applies. It's just often a case of improvements and new features as technology moves on. We'll cover a lot of the new HTML5 features during this course. HTML is used to format a web document, so a web browser knows how to correctly display it. As we said before, it's a default markup language of the web, so all web browsers know how to handle and display HTML documents correctly. The HTML applies the formatting needed to instruct the browser what to do. HTML was invented by a physicist called Tim Berners-Lee. The development took place around 1989-1990, where memos and proposals about HTML were introduced. The idea behind HTML was to create a way for researchers to send and receive documents to each other electronically. To understand why HTML was created, first let's take a look at the problem. This is an image taken from the Wikipedia website, but imagine this was a text document which needed to be sent to another department. When sending this text, there is no way of describing the formatting. The HTML header at the top is larger and also bold. There is a line beneath it and then some standard text. Also, the beginning of the paragraph is bold too, and the text also contains a series of links which you want to connect to other documents. This is a problem the researchers were facing. To begin to solve this problem, one of the first steps is the idea of marking up the text. When working with handwritten manuscripts or documents, typographers or editors would often write or mark up the text in the margins of the paper. This would include information such as the style and size of the text for each section, before being passed on for typesetting. The idea of this markup has clearly influenced the way HTML is designed. Looking at our text from before, and a basic HTML equivalent on the left. From the top, we mark up the HTML heading by surrounding it in these H1 tags. We will look closer at all these tags during the course, but this H1 describes the contents as being the most important, and also being displayed as the largest heading. So now we have a way to describe what the text will look like to the document reader, such as a web browser. The same for below, we have a HR tag to describe where we want a horizontal rule to appear. This is a standalone tag and it does not need any text content to format. Then below this, standard paragraphs of text are included with the P tags. We also have strong tags too, to tell the browser that this text is to have strong importance and also to display in bold. Of course, there are lots more of these tags to cover, but this basic example should now give you a better understanding of how things work. Also, we want to wait for these links in blue here to be able to connect or link to other documents. This leads us on to hypertext. Hypertext is another one of those words which makes up HTML. This is basically the text on the screen which add references to other text or documents. Hypertext documents are linked by what we call hyperlinks. We see this in most web pages we visit every day. Often there is a top navigation with links or hyperlinks to other pages. These web pages are often separate documents too, like you see here. So we now know that text on a web page is usually surrounded or marked up with tags, just like we looked at a few slides ago, and also these p tags at the bottom. These tags, complete with the content in the middle, is called an element. Elements can be thought of as the building blocks of a web page, and you will have plenty of practice writing these elements during the course. The final thing we're going to look at in this video is attributes. Attributes are added to elements to provide some additional information. For example, we could set the text color. We could tell the browser which page to link to if it's clicked on. Or, as you can see in the example here, we can set a unique ID for the elements. If this is all new to you and a lot to take in, don't worry just yet. While history and background is good to know, the main thing to grasp is how to add these tags to create an element, and you'll get lots more practice as we progress throughout this course.